Good evening. Please take your seats. Thank you. I'm Susan Collins, the Joan and Sanford Weill Dean of the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy, and it was a pleasure to meet so many of you yesterday at our graduation open house. And tonight, it is such an honor to welcome students, family, friends, and community members here for what is the formal highlight of our academic year, the Ford School's 2012 Commencement Ceremony. Members of our platform party. With me on stage is Ms. Carol Bellamy, and I will be actually on this side. She is our commencement speaker, and I will be introducing her more fully in just a few moments. To Carol's left is Janet Weiss, the Dean of Rackham Graduate School and the university's Vice Provost for Academic Affairs for Graduate Studies. Janet is here to represent the University of Michigan, but it is also our great fortune that we count her as a member of the Ford School faculty. So we're very honored to have Janet with us here this evening as well. Also on stage are two additional faculty colleagues, John Chorchari, who will be reading the names of our graduates, and Susan Dynarski, who will deliver the faculty address. And finally, elected by their respective classmates to provide the student commencement addresses, soon to be Ford School MPP graduate Chad Cookingham, and BA graduate Ajooni Sethi. From the mid-20th century to the present, this university has been the site of powerful and influential student action. It was on the steps of our student union in 1960 that presidential candidate John F. Kennedy Jr. first called the University of Michigan students to service, a call they heeded and still act upon more than 50 years later. A voluntary organization for international service, which of course we know as the Peace Corps, was born on this campus as the product of student passion and compassion. And while it's perhaps best known, it is but one of many examples of the ways that Michigan and Ford School students have mobilized their skills and energies to make a difference both in this country and throughout the world. We now face a myriad of seemingly intransigent challenges, and arguably there has never been a greater need for that determined spirit to act, to confront our challenges through action. Action. Ford School students are committed to public service, to shaping and enacting good public policy. They will make decisions about water conservation, about nuclear power, about how to increase literacy rates. They will work in local communities, for private organizations, for the government. They will act. They'll roll up their sleeves and put the skills they've learned to use, certainly as leaders, but also as managers, organizers, writers, lawmakers, teachers. As President Ford observed, and I quote, "While we can never do all we might wish, we must always do what we can." And that is how Ford School students can meet these challenges. They will do what they can. Even as students, today's graduates engage here at school, in the local Ann Arbor and Metro Detroit communities, and in the larger world. Ford School students create paths to change where none existed. They partner with other committed individuals and organizations, and sometimes they even create new organizations. They work to find innovative solutions to the serious public policy challenges that confront us. And that means you serve in the best and the most dynamic senses of that word. So bravo, congratulations. Keep up the good work, Ford School. Classes of 2012, we're so proud of you. But before our graduates cross this stage and take up their new challenges, now seems like a very good time to address a question that might be a common one around your family gatherings, and that is, just what is public policy anyway? Well, public policy is our collective quest to address pressing and often stubborn problems. Why is income inequality a persistent and growing American challenge? How can good science be translated into action to slow the pace of climate change? How can Detroit and other Rust Belt cities cope with the massive employment restructuring that followed the shift of American manufacturing abroad? And how can we ensure that human rights and security persist in the context of growing threats to national security? The complexity of these and other problems requires bright and energetic doers who are prepared to work to find creative and viable solutions. In 2014, the Ford School will celebrate 100 years of educating just these sorts of public policy professionals. Always a leader, the University of Michigan established the Ford School's forerunner 98 years ago as the first program of its kind in the nation to train professionals for public service, primarily in state and local government. In 1968, we were renamed the Institute for Public Policy Studies and reoriented towards applying social science research to the task of building sound public policy. And like today's MPP graduates, IP students received rigorous training in the quantitative analysis of economic, political, and organizational questions. Over time, our focus broadened considerably to encompass national and international issues, and our flagship MPP program remains one of the best in the country. In 1999, the school was named for the university's most distinguished alumnus, President Gerald Ford. It's a name we're very proud of in light of his lifelong commitment to principled public service, his integrity, and his ability to reach across the aisle and forge consensus. Being named for President Ford remains a point of pride for our students. They call themselves Fordies and use the president's name and likeness on t-shirts, event posters, co-ed fraternity. His face even adorned sports equipment this spring, when a very enterprising group of students established an all-school, and it really was all-school, lunchtime beanbag toss tournament. Our naming for President Ford propelled an era of tremendous growth. We moved into Weil Hall, our beautiful new building, in 2006. And growth in our educational programs has truly reshaped our identity and made us a comprehensive, full-service source for outstanding public policy education and research. And last fall, the school celebrated the 10th anniversary of our joint PhD programs with economics, sociology, and political science. So far, 38 students have received their doctoral degrees. They've had impressive success on the job market, earning tenure-track faculty positions, prestigious postdoctoral fellowships, and research posts with organizations like Mathematica Policy Research, the Gates Foundation, the Federal Reserve Board, and the State Department. We launched our undergraduate program in the fall of 2007, and it was an immediate success in terms of the quality of the students that it attracted and the deep engagement of our faculty in teaching and mentoring, and also in the post-graduation impact of our students. Our BA alums are working in troubled school districts as Teach for America volunteers. They're serving abroad in the Peace Corps. They're learning the ropes in DC and on political campaigns, and they're earning advanced degrees in law, business, public policy, and medicine. Our excellent faculty has grown as well. The broad range of their expertise links us with the top-ranked departments throughout the university, including economics, political science, sociology, math, history, business, social work, education, natural resources, information, and urban planning. They're thoughtful and enthusiastic teachers and mentors, and they're actively engaged with public policy challenges. And let me just give you two examples. Sue Dynarski's research her research shows that we can reduce the achievement gap, increase graduation rates, and save money by simplifying that FAFSA form. Over the past few years, she's worked with government leaders to do just that. And John Chorchari is a legal advisor to the Documentation Center of Cambodia, helping bring to justice perpetrators of atrocities committed over 30 years ago by members of the Khmer Rouge regime. I am so proud of our terrific professional staff as well. a team that keeps the education, research, public service, and engagement missions of the school moving forward. At this point, I would like to ask all faculty and staff of the Ford School to stand now. If you would join me, please stand. It's a pleasure for me to publicly thank them for all that they do. And now for the accomplishments of tonight's graduates. What have they learned during their time here, and what have they already given back to us? Let me start with our newest PhD graduate, Ashley Reed Brown, who has earned a doctorate in public policy and political science. Her training at the University of Michigan was interdisciplinary and policy relevant. PhD students receive a strong theoretical grounding in a social science discipline and pair that with rigorous coursework in empirical methods and policy analysis. Ashley will take a position as a management consultant with McKinsey & Company. Today, 95 students will receive a master's degree. The Ford School's rigorous MPP and MPA curriculum gives students the skills to collect, analyze, evaluate, and present information about a wide range of public concerns. We encourage our students to take seminars that involve real-world policy consulting, and we require MPP students to apply what they learn in the classroom during a summer internship. Our graduate students are incredibly diverse. They speak 21 different languages and hail from 9 different countries. They're also a tight-knit group. It seemed that they didn't want to be parted even over the summer, and many of them completed their internships in 2s and 3s. There were 2 at Direct Relief International and 2 at the Clinton Foundation, 3 at the Michigan Governor's Office, 3 at the White House, and so on. So they really are a very tight-knit group. Now, around 42% of our class has already finalized their immediate employment plans. And so to the parents in the room, please accept my personal reassurance that our current employment rate is squarely on track with past years, and all of our graduates will find work in city, state, federal governments, the private sector, think tanks, NGOs in the US, or in other countries around the world. There are 55 students graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy, and they have received much more than your typical undergraduate education. We kind of think about it as liberal arts on steroids. In small classes with some of the University of Michigan's best faculty, our BA curriculum trains students to think critically across disciplines, to understand a policy challenge and develop solutions. The BA students are curious, hardworking, and engaged. The group boasts 12 Phi Beta Kappas who are wearing gold cords tonight, as well as 9 Angel Scholars. They are truly the leaders and best across a wide variety of campus activities, including athletics, publications, politics, and more. The BA and MPP graduating classes presented the school with generous parting gifts totaling nearly $8,000 to fund opportunities for future classes. Their gift speaks volumes about their belief in the value of a Ford School education and the importance of making their experiences possible for others, and we're very grateful to them for that. Our graduates did not arrive at their accomplishments alone, and we are also joined by perhaps 800 family members and friends tonight. And I know that all of our graduates value the love and the support that you have provided over the years. And so graduates, I'd like to give you the chance to thank your families and friends, those who are here in person as well as those only able to be here in spirit. Thank you so much. Now, graduates, on behalf of the Ford School community, I say thank you to you for your investment in this community. It has been a pleasure to work with you and to get to know you. I know that many of you are likely to have very mixed feelings about what today represents. You've achieved so much already, but will miss many of the joys in life in Ann Arbor and at the Ford School. You'll miss your friends and classmates, of course, holiday skits, the Ford School prom, the chase for the Stevenson Cup, Ladies of Corn, Dominic's. But despite all you'll miss, today is also full of promise, the promise of new work, new cities, new friends, and new challenges. Tracy K. Smith, who was awarded the 2012 Pulitzer Prize for Poetry, writes, "Perhaps the great error is believing we're alone and that the others have come and gone. If there's one thing a Ford School graduate is not, it's alone. You uplift our community with your collaborative spirit and engagement and your insistence that the world can be changed and for the better. Every day, our alumni all over the country and the world offer their time and expertise to mentor students and shepherd them into the world of public service. Many of you will do the same for the next generation of Ford School graduates. You must always do what you can. This applies to the world of policy and to the world at large, as unsteady, as unsettled as it often is. It also applies to you. You must do what you can for each other. What you so generously offered us here, you must continue. Encourage each other and uplift your new communities with knowledge, courage, and empathy. We will remember you. We will follow your achievements with great interest, and we truly hope that you remain engaged with the life of the Ford School. So, follow us on Twitter. Friend us on Facebook. Read our magazine. Talk about the school in your professional circles. Join our LinkedIn group. Subscribe to our newsletter. Listen to our podcasts on iTunes. And someday, please, hire our students. You might even fund an internship. So whenever you're in town, please walk through the doors on Staten Hill just to say hello, and know that you will always have a home here in Ann Arbor. We're so proud of you. Congratulations and best wishes to the classes of 2012. Go forth and go blue. And now I would like to introduce our 2012 commencement speaker, Carol Bellamy. Ms. Bellamy's inspiring career has spanned politics, finance, international aid and development, and activism. Here are just a few highlights. She was among the very first Peace Corps volunteers serving in Guatemala from 1963 to 1965. 3 decades later, she was appointed by President Clinton to direct the Peace Corps, the first returning volunteer to later lead the organization. She served as executive director of the United Nations Children's Fund for 10 years, and towards the end of that tenure, led UNICEF's response to the devastating tsunami that struck the Indian Ocean in December of 2005. She's worked on Wall Street for more than a decade, with stints at Bear Stearns and Morgan Stanley. She served for 5 years in the New York State Senate, and in 1978 became the first woman president of the New York City Council. Carol, we welcome you to Ann Arbor, and it is our honor to have you here today to deliver our 2012 commencement address.
Dean Collins, members of the dais, friends and family, and graduating classes of 2012. As chair of the Global Partnership for Education, and let me tip my hat to those of you particularly who are specializing in education, we need some good advocates in that area. And also as someone who has been engaged in the public sector for about 40 years, and thank you for the definition. Do you know how long it's taken me to try and explain to my parents what being... Anyway, as somebody who has been involved in the public sector for about 40 years, it is an honor to stand here today before you, the classes of 2012, and the many distinguished guests in the audience. I am keenly aware of the importance of brief graduation addresses, particularly if you're outside. So when you're inside, they're a little longer. So anyway, let me get to my points. I have been fortunate enough to have enjoyed a multiple career life. That's what I call it in my old age. There was a time when I'd been a Wall Street lawyer, an investment banker, and a New York politician. I only needed to do real estate, and I would have been in every profession that your mother will not tell her neighbors about, actually. However, as I said, in my old age, I'm proud of the fact that I've enjoyed a multiple career life as a Peace Corps volunteer. And, okay, how many RPCVs are there here? There have to be a bunch of them. Best thing I ever did. Anyway, as a Peace Corps volunteer, a Wall Street lawyer, investment banker, New York politician, UNICEF director, CEO of a nonprofit, and now working to get kids in school in the world's poorest countries, I thought I would talk to you today about some of the lessons that I've learned along the way about getting through life. I have a number of them, not too many. Lesson number one, simple. As the writer Daniel Pink, among his books, A Whole New Mind, says to his audiences, do what you love. Or as I might say, follow your passion and not your pension. The reason this soft advice is now a very hard-headed survival strategy, in my view, is because, as one of my other favorite authors, Tom Friedman, has been reminding us for some time, the world has become, not just getting, but has become much flatter. Modern technology, communications, and transportation have increased our access to things in which we couldn't engage readily before, and indeed have made the world flatter. The flatter the world gets, the more essential it is that you do what you love. Because as Pink says, all the boring, repetitive jobs are going to be automated or outsourced in the flat world. The good jobs that will remain will be those that cannot be automated or outsourced. They will be the jobs that demand or encourage some uniquely creative flair, human flair, passion, imagination. In other words, jobs that can only be done by people who love what they do. So whatever you plan to do, whether you're going to continue to graduate school, take some time off to think, go directly to a job, 40%, that's pretty good. Or maybe you're still figuring out what to do next. Listen to your heart. It's the best career counselor there is. Do what you really love to do. And if you don't know what that is quite yet, well, just keep searching, because you'll find it. You'll bring that something extra to your work that will help ensure that you will not be automated or outsourced. Lesson number two is that the most enduring skill you can bring to your coming years is also one of the most important skills one learns. Certainly, I suspect here at Ford. And that is the ability to learn how to learn, whether it's in the classroom or far beyond the classroom. Learning how to learn ensures a better ability to survive in today's world. I certainly need to remind you that these days it's a bit tough to take the security of your future career for granted. What you should be sure of, however, is that you and your peers will be at an advantage having gone through a Ford education that has such an emphasis on critical thinking at its heart. And by the way, never underestimate the value of lifelong learning. In all my experience, while following, I hope, my passion, I also learned about the world, its peoples, and its needs. Lesson number three is don't get carried away with gadgets. I'm sitting next to somebody who's going to give her remarks from her iPad. Well, at least I don't have a flip chart here. I mean, that's... And I'm not suggesting you shouldn't go on Facebook or whatever else you want to go on. It's true. I often wonder how I used to survive in the pre-email era, and as you can see from my gray hair, I grew up in a time of troglodytes. But in this age of the cloud and smartphones, the internet and Google, e-readers and iPads, remember one thing. All these tools might make you smarter, but they sure won't make you smart. They may extend your reach, but they will never tell you what to say to your neighbor next door, or how to comfort a friend in need, or how to imagine a breakthrough in science and literature. You cannot download passion, imagination, zest, creativity. You have to upload it the old-fashioned way, within your brain, with reading and writing and math, travel, study, reflection, music and art, and human interaction. Your experience at Ford will have instilled in you a natural curiosity, respect, and understanding for people of different backgrounds, languages, cultures, and religions. This is the most valuable passport to take with you as you go on life's journey. Lesson number 4 is to always remember that there is a difference between skepticism and cynicism. Skepticism is about asking questions, being dubious, being wary, not being gullible, but always being open to being persuaded by a new fact. Cynicism is about already having the answers, or at least thinking that you have. The skeptic says, I don't think that's true, but I'm going to check it out. The cynic says, I know that's not true, it couldn't be. Again, you're lucky. Ford excels at teaching one to question, to consider other viewpoints, and to understand that other people, with their differences, can be right. Lesson number 5. This is always a hard one for me because I have a hard one with this lesson, but I really believe it. I only wish I could stick with it. Lesson number 5, be patient. Change of any sort takes time and effort. A graduate degree, as important as it is, and it's important, is only the start to a long career of ups and downs. With hard work and a bit of luck, I can assure you there'll be many more ups than downs. Lesson number 6, develop the ability to synthesize. Howard Gardner reminds us the future mind must be able to take this myriad of data and information that we're bombarded with and narrow the interpretation to key points and concepts. Lesson number 7, be a global citizen. I talk about this a lot. So what does that term, global citizen, mean? I'll give you a definition tonight as well. In my view, the first way to answer the question is quite basic, pragmatic, and it goes straight to the bottom line. As I noted a few minutes ago, the globalized world we live in and the future we're looking at demands new skills and competencies to be effective and competitive. But of course, global citizenship is much more than just a skill set to be acquired, more than just a set of knowledge or a means to build a resume or a career. And global citizenship is certainly not about the number of stamps in your passport or indeed whether you go into international work. Global citizenship is a mindset to be embraced, acted upon, and lived and breathed in one's daily life. Global citizens embrace and advocate for the broadest, most inclusive worldview, and they seek to translate their beliefs into concrete actions and outcomes in their everyday lives, something I just heard that you do very well. Global citizens have an ideal vision of the world as it could be, but at the same time are realists in how they apply that vision to create change. They seek to move beyond political ideologies and ethnic divisions, and they work hard to acquire knowledge, skills, and capacities that will help make them effective. Global citizens are agents of change who are not afraid to step outside their comfort zones and bridge differences. You know, when we open ourselves to people from different cultures, we overcome our fears and misconceptions. We see opportunities that we never dreamed of before. We find common ground that we never imagined. We come to relish differences rather than fearing them because they enrich our lives, adding vibrancy, color, and a dazzling array of new experiences. All the ingredients we need to stop our lives becoming mundane and humdrum. Becoming a global citizen, I can guarantee from firsthand experience, is the route to the life less ordinary. So what do these global citizens look like? Well, look around. I have no doubt that we have a room full right here. I know we all get hung up on celebrating, the Bonos and the Oprahs of the world, who, in my view, no question, do great work and serve in models in their own way. But I'm here tonight to tell you that even people who require a first and last name to be recognized can make a difference. Practical experiences shows all of us that you do not have to be famous or uniquely talented or blessed or some heroic type person to make a difference. Leadership and good citizenship are more about making choices than destiny. Each and every person can make a difference. They start small, they stay compassionate, and they remain committed. My last lesson, lesson 8. I think I was being told that I better get to the last lesson. I think this is a really important lesson. Keep a sense of humor. Life can be very serious, but enjoying the ride through humor can sometimes make it much more palatable and certainly much more enjoyable. So let me wrap up by saying that happiness is a journey. It's not a destination. If I've had any success in my career, it's because I found a way to enjoy the journey as much as the destination. I had as much fun as a Peace Corps volunteer 50 years ago in Guatemala as I do now working with the Global Partnership. I've had my dull and down moments, there's no question. But more often than not, I found ways to learn from and enjoy some part of each and every job. You can't bet your whole life on one single destination. You have to make the journey work, too. So let me conclude and leave you with a bit of wit and wisdom attributed to that very unique American author, Mark Twain. This is what he reminded us. I think good to keep in mind. Always work like you don't need the money. Always fall in love like you've never been hurt. Always dance like nobody is watching. And always, always live like it's heaven on earth. To the classes of 2012, I wish you much success in your future careers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I am now delighted to welcome the members of Amazin Blue to the stage. Amazin Blue is the University of Michigan's oldest co-ed a cappella ensemble, and they will perform 2 classics from the University of Michigan's songbook. Please. Thank you. Each year, the Ford School's graduating students are asked to elect people to play key roles in our commencement. One faculty member is chosen to speak to the classes, and both sets of graduating classes choose a representative student speaker. As the faculty speaker, the classes of 2012 elected Professor Susan Dynarski. Sue is an education economist who has a joint appointment in the University of Michigan School of Education. She has a BA and an MPP from Harvard and earned her PhD in economics from MIT. She's been called one of America's most visible, influential education scholars. From the optimal design of financial aid to rigorous evaluations of charter schools, her research explores the causes and consequences of inequality, as well as innovative policy solutions. One of the courses that Sue teaches here at the Ford School is called Quantitative Methods for Program Evaluation. Now, as you might suspect from the title, it's a course that challenges our students. And she's not considered an easy teacher. So when the graduating students elect to hear one last time from someone who teaches one of our toughest courses, you know that we're in the presence of a great teacher. And so I'm delighted to invite Sue Dynarski to speak on behalf of the faculty.
Okay, so apparently I engaged in poor planning because I failed to call Dean Collins and check what she was wearing today, and ended up wearing exactly the same outfit. Very embarrassing. And I failed to talk to Carol Bellamy to find out what lessons she was going to impart to you. And it turns out many of them are the same lessons, and they were said far more eloquently than I'm going to. But I'll do what I can. I've stood in front of a lot of you for much more than the 6 minutes that I'm told to stand here today. But I'm much more nervous than I was for any of those lectures, and I think it's the funny little hat combined with the weightiness of saying goodbye to another wonderful class of Ford students. So let me start with the flattery. That's the first thing in any speech at graduation. You guys have been a pleasure to teach. You demand a lot of your instructors. You demand relevance from your classes, right? These are not theoretical classes we teach you. You want them connected to the world of practice. And this makes teaching you a very tough but an extremely rewarding job. Besides teaching you, hearing from you after graduation about where you are and what you're doing and how your Ford education has affected the way you move through the world, that's another great joy. So please keep us apprised, whether it's on Facebook or email or even walking in and saying hi. Okay, so now on to a few gems of wisdom that I have collected over the years. I seem to have been collecting in the same places as Carol. And I'm now going to bestow them upon you. When you charge out into the world flying the Ford School flag, you keep these things in mind. If you violate any of them, we're going to find you and take away your degree. Okay? So, number one. I think I numbered a couple of things with the same numbers. We'll find out if my quant students catch this. There'll be a quiz after the talk. One, no jargon, okay? Cut the jargon out of your writing and your speech. You're all wicked smart. That's a technical term, sorry. So impress people with your clear thinking rather than with insider mumbo-jumbo. So for example, and this is hard to do, especially once you get inside the Beltway, that is Washington, D.C. Keep speaking English. So don't use the word incentivize, for example. When encourage and motivate are perfectly good words that are used and understood by normal human beings, okay? Dialogue is not a verb. You don't dialogue with someone, you talk with them. And if you use the word impactful in any context, we will not only revoke your UM degree, but also contact any other institution from which you have graduated and get those pulled too. All right, number two, no tiny fonts. All right, you're going to go forth and use PowerPoint. There's no way to avoid it. No font smaller than 18 point. Okay, write that on the inside of your hand and just follow that for the rest of your life. Okay, now on to the bigger, more spiritual stuff. So how about that career? Do you have it all mapped out yet? The other, let's see, 58% of you? Some of you are really organized planners, and you've got your futures mapped out. You're the people who read what color is your parachute, and you've done your Briggs-Myers, and you make the rest of us really nervous. So what I say here is for the muddlers. Seek out and work with people you like and whose work you respect. So look around the world and look for people who are doing things that really impress you and who you like, and do what you can to work with them. Volunteer with them, join their organizations, stick close to them. A prestigious title, a fancy firm, something looks good on a business card, nice office furniture, they're all worthless if you don't like and respect the people who are on your team. So working with good-hearted and smart people is what sustained me throughout my career, and it's pretty much the only career plan I've had, and it's worked out pretty good for me. Don't worry about appearances. Don't waste your time worrying about what people think of you. Instead, be of use. This economist, MIT trained, just like Susan, that's what this outfit is the MIT robes. The key to productivity is doing stuff. So get out there and do stuff, and that's how you'll be productive. Ask questions. We already heard this one. If somebody asserts that something is obviously true, take that as a red flag right off the bat. Make them back it up. Find the facts, do your analysis, draw your conclusions, and make yourself heard. Speak truth to power is the fancy way we put it, right? Don't tolerate fools. When wrong things are said, speak up, okay? If the emperor has no clothes, point it out, make a joke about them. Don't go along to get along. That's the easy way to go. You don't need a Michigan education to take the easy path, right? So stir up the waters and make trouble if you need to. On that front, a very smart piece of advice I once got was to be as helpful as possible to the people who work for you, and a little bit of a pain in the ass to the people above you. Okay? So, final word. You want to change the world, and that's how you came into Ford, was wanting to change the world. You had a strong heart, you got strong hands, and now I hope you're going out with an even stronger mind. Because you need all three. You need to care, and you need to work hard, and you need to work smart. And with all three of these, I know you're going to move mountains. It's going to be an inch at a time, 1 inch forward, half an inch back, but I know you're going to do it. Please come back and tell us about it when you're done.
Thank you very much, Sue. And as you can tell, our faculty really love what they do, which is wonderful. The undergraduate class of 2012 elected Ajooni Sethi to speak on their behalf. Ajooni is the James B. Angel Scholar and has been an active leader during her time here at Michigan. She served on an advisory board for the Dean of Students, was communications director for the outstanding student-led publication Consider magazine, and coordinated advertising and activities for TEDx of U of M. While studying abroad last year in Strasbourg, France, she worked as a press intern for the Council of Europe. Ajooni exemplifies the wonderful spirit of activism here on campus, as well as our diversity of thought and ideology, having organized a Halloween Day zombie protest of one of our own speakers. It was great. Ajooni, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to the podium. Thank you.
Many of you at the Ford School may know me as Professor Alan Deardorff or Perry Zelak. But today, much to the dismay of the Ford faculty and staff, I'm sure, I'm just myself, a fellow student who has shared this completely bizarre year with you, shared the same feelings of panic, uncertainty, and excitement. I look at my friends with their computer science and engineering degrees and their med school tracks, and I think, where am I with my public policy degree that does not directly translate into a laid out path? I've been driving myself crazy thinking about public policy and my future for the past few months. So I decided that we need a break. So today I'm going to talk about physics, which I know nothing about, so here goes. Specifically, Newton's laws of motion. Newton's first law states that an object in motion will remain in motion until an opposite external force is applied to it. It states that we'll keep moving until something hits us really hard. 1 month ago, one of my best friends committed suicide. When I was writing this speech, I kept stopping at that last line. While I'm talking to you today, I stop at that last line. It hits me every single time. But then, without a doubt, something happens. Newton's lab is not real life. In Newton's lab, there is one isolated object, but in real life, there are many objects moving at the same time. What got me and the rest of Jordan's friends and family through the past month are the people around us that would not let us simply stop. Out of our loss came intense beauty and profound love. People reaching out to people across campus, across states, across nations. And the only thing that they had in common was their love for Jordan and their grief over her loss. But the point that there exists many objects does not detract from each individual object. The most beautiful and terrible part of Jordan being gone is that nobody and nothing can replace her. Like the individuality of a person, no other experience will be able to replace your years here at Ford and your years at Michigan. But we can be sad and happy at the same time. Sad about what we leave, but excited for what we take with us and what we head towards. We don't have to move on from and let go of experiences that form us, but we do have to move forward. We cannot stop. The two things that will carry us are the people around us and ourselves. At the Ford School, we don't have to reach out. We don't have to know each other's names or make Weil Hall feel like home or parade around Maine and South U, bar to bar, wearing matching American flag bandanas. But we do. And we did. And that's why it's hard to leave. And that's why I'm going to miss you guys like crazy. And that's why it is all worth it. We will keep each other. I know that we will. And wherever we go next, we must continue to build more communities. Things will hit us, sometimes hard enough to make us stop. And it is the people around us that make sure we move again. We must remember that when we stop, it is okay for others to carry us, and that we must carry others when they cannot carry themselves. Lastly, we must never undervalue our own power. No one will be able to contribute to this world what we will and in the way that we will. I know it's hard for you to imagine that you are that important, but you are. Ergo, Newton was wrong. But thank God we're public policy majors, what up? And that is what Ford students can do. We can redefine the boundaries, we can create our own rules, and we can prove Newton wrong. Congratulations, Ford family. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you've given me, for what you've given our community, and for what you will unleash into this world. Be ever with the families that you create, stay ever in motion, and much love.
And now we will hear from the student elected to speak from the master's class of 2012, Chad Cookingham. Chad is an outstanding student who was awarded a Gerstacker Fellowship for academic excellence. He earned bachelor's degrees in economics and psychology from Dartmouth College in 2002 and since then he has taught, mentored, coached, and tutored young people in a number of settings, including the Gunnery School in Washington, Connecticut, Colegio Americano de Quito in Quito, Ecuador, and Worcester School in Danbury, Connecticut. He completed his summer internship doing program evaluation for the Denver Scholarship Foundation in Colorado, and Chad has accepted a full-time position as the College and Career Director for Generation Schools in Denver. Chad, I'm delighted to invite you to the podium.
Faculty and staff, friends and family, fellow graduates. My name is Chad Cookinham. Some of you know me as the guy who changes his facial hair all the time. Some of you know me as the only person to actually do all of the reading for 585. But most of you probably know me as my most famous role, Mary's husband. For those of you who do not know, my wife Mary and I came to the Ford School together, and both of us are graduating with our MPPs today. When we tell people that, people often have lots of questions about us going to policy school. Sometimes the questions are more general about policy school, but sometimes they're very specific about going to school with your spouse. Sometimes people ask us whether we hold hands together in class. Of course, I tell them we do not, even though we do. And one of the most common things people want to know is if we take a lot of classes together. And when they find out that we do, what they really want to know is, so how do you deal with it when your spouse does better than you in a class? To which Mary responds, I don't know, you should probably ask Chad. Though we do get asked many questions about going to school together, most of the questions that people ask us are questions that all of us have been asked over the years. The first question people ask is really a two-part question of what is policy school and why are you going there? I'm not going to lie, in the beginning I was not very good at answering the first part of that question because I'm not really sure I knew what policy school actually was before getting here. Thankfully, I am better prepared to answer that question now. But it's the second part of this question I've been thinking about a lot lately. Why did we all come here to policy school? And what is it that does unite us? We all have very different policy interests, from technology to education to food to national defense. So what brought us all to this place to study together? When I think about what we all have in common, it seems to me that it is the deep-rooted belief that the world can be a better place and that we have a role to play in making it so. To me, one of the most important things that we can do in our post-Ford lives is to make sure that we never lose sight of the fact that we can change the world. Whether we end up in the public sector, the private sector, the nonprofit sector, we must always stay true to this belief. We can never fall victim to the cynicism that pervades the media these days. While others may be fine saying, oh, that's just the way it is, we cannot afford that luxury. No matter how hard it is, we need to fight so that we can live in the world that we want, not the world we were given. We can change the world, and we don't have to do it alone, which leads me to the other question people have been asking lately. The other thing they want to know is what it is that I've gotten out of graduate school. And while the mind obviously goes first to the skills and knowledge that we have all gained, I think the most important thing that we can take from here are the relationships that we have made. As long as we stay true to our belief that the world can be a better place, then we always have each other to help us get there. From our professors to career services to the broader University of Michigan community, people will always be willing to help us in our path. But most important of all are the people sitting around next to us. We are all here to support one another because we're all here for the same goal, even if we're approaching it from different angles. We should never hesitate to reach out to our fellow classmates when we need help or advice, introduction, or collaboration. As Cesar Chavez said, you are never strong enough that you don't need help. So as we leave this beautiful place that has taught us so much for the real world that can be so cynical, we can't lose sight of the fact that together we can change the world. And though it may be sad to leave behind all the friends that we have made, we need to remember that we are all headed to the same place, even if we set off in different directions. And no matter how far we end up from Ann Arbor, we should never forget that it is great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Go Blue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad. We are now at the moment that family and friends have been looking forward to all evening. Our graduates are ready to come to the stage to receive official congratulations on a job so well done. This year, the names will be read by John Ciorciari. John is Assistant Professor of Public Policy. He teaches graduate and undergraduate courses on politics, political institutions, and post-conflict law and transition. He taught a course on economic and social policies in Colombia and then took 20 students to Bogota this spring to meet with policymakers and other leaders. John has an undergraduate and a law degree from Harvard, capped by a master's and a PhD in international relations from the University of Oxford. I'm very pleased to introduce John Ciorciari to call the names of our graduating students.
Good evening. To begin, I'll call our graduate earning a doctoral degree, and I'd like to welcome Vincent Hutchings to the stage. Vincent's a professor of political science in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, and he'll hood our PhD graduate. Vincent. Ashley Reed Brown. Ashley's dissertation title is Coffee Shop Conversations, an exploration of how local elected officials develop and engage their social networks. And now we'll welcome our graduates receiving a master's degree in public policy or public administration. Maggie Allen. Sarah Jane Blumenthal. Tricia Kiosley Bossler, a U.S. Navy veteran. Scott Burgess. Daniel Cabezas. Coben Calhoun. Neil Clarence Carter. Catherine L. Chen. Yohei Chiba. Gregory Hoynatsky. Mary Rose Cipollone. Alexandra Citron. Charles Clark. Adrian Julia Cohen. Chad Brian Cookinham. Maureen Reed Downs. Brendan John Egan. Masahiro Enso. Ahmet Yavushan Erdem. Anna Erickson. Kate Fletcher. Caroline Massid Francis. Jesse Michael Franzblau. Rafi Garabedian. Colin Gerst. Devi Glick. Alita Haflet. Yoshinori Harada. Ben Johnson. Jun Kondo. Gabriel James Krishak. Kevin Kuo. Jiun Lee. Claire Ruth Lanin. Haruka Maeda. Oliver Tuckman Matthews. Tsuneki Matsuo. Salvador Maturana Rogers. Devin McMacken. Lindsay Taylor Minima. Katleho Moilwa. Jonathan Riley Moore. Harlan Eduardo Pacheco Figueroa. Elizabeth Rose Paluzola. Dionisio Garcia Pires. Keenan Pontoni. Dylan Curtis Presley. Jessica Hope Presley. Ryan William Pretzer. Evan Alexander Raleigh. Emily Elizabeth Rinner. Nathan Keller Ricks. Catherine Maria Rodriguez. Joel Reuter. Kamolchanuk Saitang. Rodney M. Sapp. Eamon Patrick Scanlon. Julie Marie Schneider. Alexandra Martin Shukoff. Sarah Shubatowski. Hillary Holstein Smith. Sharif Adel Sakari. Marin Miriam Spolam. George Stanko. Amer Sultan. Stephanie Swerchek. Pauline C. Greg Thorne. Justin D. Tooley. Jan Tulek. Shinichiro Suri. David Turner. Serena Estrella Villalba. Jeffrey Warner. Kristen Elizabeth Welling. Elizabeth Caroline Wilson. Koji Yamashita. Yuki Yamaguchi. And Perry Zilak. And now we'd like to welcome to the stage students receiving a Bachelor in Arts in Public Policy. Missy Allen. Candice Amori. Vidi Bomzai. Andrew Michael Beeline. Zachary Berlin. Nina Bhattacharya. Emily Beal. Christopher Cracchiola. Danielle Rachel DePriest. Catherine DeHunt. Laylee Dorr. Alicia Dougal. Michael Florek. Chaim Frankel, Benjamin Gordon, Jamie Gorosh, Brian Jordan Gutman, Ashley Marie Hill, Meredith Horowski, Sanjay Jolly, Ruben Kapp, Brandon Cappy, Emily Knoll, Jeremy Levy, Maria Liu, Laura Mason, Megan Dean McKeever, Lydia McMullen-Laird, Michael Mirar, Lauren Mondry, Alexander Odell, Jonathan Olinger, Charles O'Neill, Farheen Osman, Mary Grace Pellegrini, Karen Donna Ritter, Emily Elizabeth Rogoff, Devin Rubenstein, Joseph Mullen Sandman, Jamie Beth Serlin, Ajooni Kaur Sethi, Alexis Heather Smith, Christopher John Sorensen, Bennett Stein, Derek A. Sutton, Abigail White, Matthew Welfel, Masha Zilberman, Evan Zinneman, and Steven Zuckerman.
Graduates, please stand and face your guests in the audience. BA students, at this time, please move your tassel on your mortarboard from the right to the left. And now, I am so pleased to present to you the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy classes of 2012. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you all for coming today and sharing in this very special occasion. I'll ask you please to remain seated until the class has exited, and then we have light refreshments in the lobby. And I encourage you to stay, take some photos, greet one another, and enjoy the company. Again, we're so proud of you, graduates. Go forth and go blue.